deliciously with Ara. Today we're gonna make kimchi-jjim. So subscribe and like. You know how Koreans love kimchi, right? And kimchi is probably like, one of the best ingredients. We can actually just eat it from the fresh, like bagong gawa, or when it goes like really sour as it ferments. There's no way you can actually dispose kimchi because there's so many different dishes na pwede natin gawin. Kimchi-jjim, actually the word jjim means parang sinistew siya ng matagal na matagal. It's like sort of like, almost on a steaming process. And basically, we're gonna use this fermented kimchi, or yung medyo kailangan natin is yung medyo maasim-asim na. Hindi pwede yung mga bagong gawa. So when you have this stored, kung meron kayo bagong gawa lang and you really want to have kimchi-jjim, what you can do is actually just put it outside your ref. Ilabas nyo lang siguro mga around 1 or 2 days, especially in Philippines like this kung medyo mainit ang panahon. Aasim talaga siya, and then that's what we use for making our kimchi-jjim. And of course, we can use pork. I have right now here is our pork spareribs cut in my buto-buto. But if you have like liempo or pige or kasip or any kinds of carne like pork, this is a perfect way to use our kimchi and pork together na parang binuboil natin na matagal. Great for especially when you have visitors, something to amaze them na medyo, it's a little bit of a unique but very well presented, and you can actually have all these amazing Korean flavors on your dish. So now let's start. For the pork, I have here is 1 kilograms of pork spare ribs. Now, kung medyo may buto-buto yung ating mga pork, what you do is, I recommend na ibababad natin siya sa water na medyo matagal. But if you're gonna use some parts na walang buto, like puro pige or like something like medyo malaman-laman lang, actually just have to cut it. And then, because yung medyo malansang smell of the carne comes really from the blood clots, what I recommend is ibababad natin siya sa water para medyo magiging parang pale ang kanyang color. Binabad ko na siya siguro mga 2 hours. And also, of course, I had to rinse it well. Now, for our kimchi, it is really recommended na gamitin natin yung buong kimchi and not the sliced ones, because we're gonna be cooking it na matagal around like 1 or 2 hours. And when we present it on the platter, parang without the pechay and the pork, mas maganda when we can see the buong pechay kaysa sa parang maliliit na siya na nakahiwa. So I have here 1 full cut of my pechay kimchi. Now, if it's been fermented, what we want to do is i-rinse natin na isang beses lang, because yung mga chili powders na ferment, it can give a little bit of a fermented smell and flavor, and gusto ko medyo malinis ang ating taste. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna rinse it parang isang banlaw lang ng water. Stay tuned! As you can see, I just make balaw isang beses my kimchi. Some people really prefer na diretso agad yung kanyang kimchi na fermented na ginagamit for kimchi-jjim. But for me, I prefer na just like 1 balaw, and as you can see, medyo parang nagiging orangish na yung color. Anyways, the flavor really comes from the fermented pechay, and later yung sabaw niya or the sauce, I'm just gonna add another coloring using my chili powder. Super easy. Just have to turn on your pan. So now, after you turn on your fire, it's really good to use like a wok or like a big caldero, kasi we just have to really like boil and boil for matagal. For your pechay, I have here 1 buo. I'm just gonna half it in the center. And then 1/4 ulit. I'm not gonna rectangle I don't know how you call this, yung parang ulo niya, yung parang core, because later on when it's cooked, then isi-serve ko lang siya without it mamaya na pagluto na. So I'm just gonna have to layer this a little. Hinaan ko lang ng konti. So put your kimchi first, and then your pork on top. So this is 1 kilogram and 2 kilograms of kimchi. So my ratio is actually 1 to 2, but syempre, you can always adjust accordingly. So after my bottom layer is kimchi, then pork, I'm gonna parang lalagyan ko siya ng covering ng isa pang layer ng kimchi. Just cut again 1/4 with the layers, with my kimchi head intact. And then we're gonna cover my pork. So now, after layering my kimchi, pork, and kimchi, I'm gonna add water. Ngayon, yung amount of water, don't worry too much. Kasi what we just want to do is like parang sinistew natin ng matagal. So if ever nakulangan siya ng water, if you feel like it's gonna dry up too much, then you add a little bit of water. Pero hindi siya gagawin na parang jjigae or parang soup. So I have here just enough water lang para matakpan yung ating kimchi. And then I'm gonna add in here 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. And actually, this is my secret ingredient, which is my dwenjang or Korean fermented soybean paste. So I'm gonna add around 1 tablespoon of soybean paste. I actually like to really use my soybean or dwenjang in any kinds of my pork-related stews because ang ginagawa ng dwenjang is nagpapatanggal siya ng parang amoy, ng lasa, and I mean, nagpapa-boost up siya ng flavor while removing yung parang medyo malansang smell ng karne. So I have here 1 tablespoon, just konti lang. And if you have samjang, which is yung parang sauce na ginagamit natin for our Korean barbecue, we can actually just use that samjang instead of my dwenjang. So I have here 1 tablespoon of garlic and dwenjang, and then now I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of my chili powder just to have a little bit of a coloring na red na natanggal kanina sa ating pagbalaw. Now, the color of this, habang naluluto, mag-melt yung ating chili powder and it will give a very beautiful color. Of course, kung gusto nyo mas manghang ng konti, then we can actually always add as your preference goes. And then for the saltiness of it, I always like to use patis when it comes to kimchi-related dishes. So I have here 2 tablespoons of my patis. So iwanan ko lang talaga siya sa open fire, probably around 1 to 2 hours, hanggang talaga we can see na talaga super malambot na yung ating pork and kimchi. Must try recipe! So it's been almost an hour and a half na nagbo-boil siya ng nagbo-boil. So what you wanna do is habang nagbo-boil, just try to coat the top of it with some of the stews. And then, as you can see, super lantang-lanta na yung ating kimchi, right? And I can also see that my meat is super tender. So I'm gonna add around 1 tablespoon of my sugar. But of course, it's really your preference kung gaanong kadami ang gusto nyo. But I didn't add earlier kasi parang gusto ko i-adjust muna ng lahat ng mga flavors ng kimchi muna ang gusto ko isinisip-sip ng ating karne. That's why I added my sugar just now when almost cooked na yung ating pechay or my kimchi. Evenly distributed it. Saka, I have here my leeks. I have here around 2 pieces, but it's really up to you kung gaano karami ang gusto ninyo. And now, let's add into our kimchi-jjim. And then, check natin yung ating karne. As you can see, yung kanina yung core ng ating pechay, super malambot na. So, as I'm checking my kimchi under, and also my pork, and also for the pork, when you're adding it kanina earlier sa kimchi-jjim, don't cut na maliliit lang masyado. Kasi pag masyado maliliit, parang it will be very parang napakaliit na mukha na siyang kimchi-jjim eh. But what you wanna do is it's gonna be on the plate. Kasi pang it's more for sharing. Mas maganda na medyo malaki yung ating karneng cut. So now, I'm just gonna be very gentle kasi ayoko talaga na mapunit yung ating pechay. Pero gusto ko i-check yung ating pork. So as you can see na medyo nagda-dry out na konti yung ating sabaw. And medyo malambot na yung ating kimchi-jjim, which is our kimchi and yung ating karne. It's already ready to be served. Must try recipe! Because kimchi-jjim is mostly for sharing or for visitors. I wanna first lay out my kimchi na buo sa ating plate. And then later when you serve it, parang gusto natin parang ikakat lang yung ating ulo here. And then, mas masarap kasi yung buo yung kimchi natin. So this is really good for party food and for sharing. And also when you want to have a main dish on your table. Ta-da! Here's my kimchi-jjim. Super madali lang, but a great dish to actually surprise and entertain your visitors or your family for a gathering or dinner. Kasi it's not just an ordinary kimchi, we're actually upgrading our kimchi to a very pleasant meal like this. So I hope you enjoy my recipe. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also please share in what kind of Korean dishes you want to have featured on our channel as well. So see you next time. Thank you everyone. Bye!